Hello everyone, I am Shubha Tripathi from IIPS and today we are going to discuss some topic of Unix. So let's get started. Now we'll discuss our first topic, what is a shell? A shell provides you with an interface to the Unix system. It gathers input from you and executes programs based on that input. When a program finishes executing, it displays that program's output. Shell is an environment in which we can run our commands, programs and shell scripts. There are different flavors of a shell, just as there are different flavors of operating system. Each flavor of shell has its own set of recognized commands and functions. Shell functions are a way to group commands for later execution using a single name for the group. They are executed just like a regular command. When the name of a shell function is used as a simple command name, the list of commands associated with that function name is executed. Now we will discuss our next topic, the shell's interpretive cycle. When you log on to a Unix machine, you first see a prompt. This prompt remains there until you key in something. Even though it may appear that the system is idling, a Unix command is in fact running at the terminal. But this command is special. It's with you all the time and never terminates unless you log out. This command is the shell. The shell first scans the command line for a meta character. There are special characters that mean nothing to the command but mean something special to the shell. If shell sees meta character like pipe or asterisk etc. in the command line, it performs all the action represented by the symbol before the command can be executed. Now we will discuss some points of the shell interpretive cycle. Our first point is the shell issue the prompt waits for you to enter a command. After a command is entered, the shell scans the command line for a meta character and expand abbreviation to recreate a simplified command line. It then passes on the command line to the kernel for execution. The shell waits for the command to complete and normally can't do any work while the command is running. After a command execution is complete, the prompt reappears and the shell returns to its waiting rule to start the next cycle. Now you can enter another command. Now we will move on to our second topic, which is shell offering. Your Unix system offers a variety of shells for you to choose from. Over time, shells have become more powerful by the progressive addition of new features. The shell we consider in this text can be grouped into two categories, the Bourne shell and the C shell. The Bourne family comprising the Bourne shell, which is /bin/sh, and its derivatives, the Corn shell, /bin/ksh, and the Bash /bin/bash. And our second type is the C shell, which is /bin/csh and its derivative tcsh, which is /bin/tcsh. The absolute path name of the shell's command file is shown in parentheses. Everything that applies to a Bourne also applies to its supersets Corn and Bash. When you run echo $shell, the output displays the absolute path name of the shell's command file. If $shell evaluates to /bin/bash, your login shell is Bash. Bash is near POSIX complaint and is probably the best shell to use. Corn should be the next choice. Decide on the shell you would like to use for interpretive work and make that your login shell. So before we end, we have a note. Some systems offer the chsh command that can change your login shell. In case you don't find it on your system, you'll have to ask the administrator to make the change for you. He will either use the user mode command or directly edit the last line in the relevant line of /etc/passwd. You may not like to know all this right now, but it does pay at this stage to know the shell that you are using or one that you should henceforth use. Now we are going to discuss some questions. Our first question is, how do you print every line of a file twice, and how do I insert a blank line after each line that is read? Before we start discussing this question, we should know what is SED. SED stands for the Stream Editor. SED is a multi-purpose tool which combines the work of several filters. It is derived from word ed, the original Unix editor. SED performs the non-interactive operations on a data stream, hence its name. It uses very few options but has a host of features that allow you to select line and run instruction on them. To address instead, it is done in two ways. First, by one or two line number. Second, by specifying an enclosed pattern which occurs in a line. Set processes several instructions in a sequential manner. Each instruction operates on the output of the previous instruction. In this context, two options relevant and probably there are only one you will use with set. The "-c" option that lets you to multiple instructions and the "-f" option is take instruction from a file. We will be using the p command to display line. P stands for print, and however this command behaves in a seemingly strange manner. It outputs the both selected line as well as all line. So the selected line appears twice. We must suppress this behavior with the "-n" option and remember to use the option wherever we use the p command. Now to answer for our first question is print every line of a file twice is sed p foo. Foo is a file name, and answer for the second question, which is insert how do you insert a blank line after each line that is read, is sed -n a/p foo. Foo is again a file name. Now we move on to a second question, which is what shortcut does sed offer to replace the string Linux with Red Hat Linux? Before we discuss this, we should know about substitution. Substitution is easily the most important feature of sed, and there is one job that sed does exceedingly well. It lets you replace a pattern in its input with something else. The use of regular expression enhances our pattern matching capabilities, and in this we will feature some more regular expression characters that make the use of sed so compelling. You have encountered the substitution. Now we will look at what sed has done only if this means that there is no need to use at the address to bring flag. We use global substitution to replace all pipes with colons. S here is same as the substitutor. Now we will discuss our third question, which is how do you add two spaces at the beginning of every line? Before we discuss this question, we should know what is substitution. Substitution is easily the most important feature of sed, and this is one job that sed does exceedingly well. It lets you replace a pattern in its input with something else. The use of regular expression enhances our pattern matching capabilities. We feature some more regular expressions character that make the use of sed so compelling. Sed is mostly used for substitution with the symbol S, and the G flag at the end makes the substitution global. The search and substitution pattern can be regular expression, but only of the BRE type. The answer for our above question is sed S // foo. Here foo stands for a file name. Now we will move on to our fourth question, which is how do you invert the name of the individual in employee list so that the surname occurs first? We will look for the location where the pipe sign occurs and then use TRE. Here we should know what is TRE. TRE is the text regular expression. This is the most complex of all regular expressions and possibly the finest. It relates to breaking up a line into groups and then extracting one or more of these groups. The text regular expression requires two regular expressions to be specified, one each for the source and target pattern. This is how the TRE works. You have to identify the segments of a line that you wish to extract and enclose each segment with a matched pair of escaped parentheses. Now, here for the above question, the answer is sed S segments and emp.lst. emp.lst stands for employee list. Now we will discuss our fifth question. If x has the value 10, what is the value of first $x and second $x? Before we start this question, we should know what is shell script. When a group of commands have to be executed regularly, they should be stored in a file, and the file is executed as a shell script or shell program. Though it's not mandatory, we normally use the .sh extension for shell script. This makes it easy to match them with wildcards. Shell scripts are executed in a separate child shell process. and this subshell need not to be the same type of your logic shell. In other words, even if your login shell is 1, you can use a con subshell to run your script. By default, the child and parent shells belong to the same type, but you can provide a special interpreter line in the first line of the script to specify a different shell of your script. The answer for our above question is the value of x is 10, and if the question is $x, then the answer would be $x 10, and if the question is $x, the answer would be 1010.